Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, if you were born in Splatoon Month, your birth gemstone is Spirhalite. After Castlevania, I warned you not to return, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society warns you not to return with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. Exciting to be here at the beginning of Splatoon Month.
It's the beginning of Splatoon Month. I can't think of a better time for you and I to be talking about Splatoon than in Splatoon Month. I don't know why we haven't done this in the past.
I know, it's kind of silly. Every year Splatoon Month comes around, and we've never really commemorated it
before. It does
before.
feel like it comes around earlier and earlier every year, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I'm very excited to do that. Mark, I'm doing this episode with some new kit here.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Ooh,
new laptop running the show today. So if I do some strange button presses and cueing of musics, it's because I'm not used to the new tech yet.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
In a lot of ways, getting a new computer is just like having the old computer, except not bad. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like there's nothing exciting about.
No, everything transfers over.
Yes.
And so there's a moment, a brief moment where you're like, this is really cool.
Yes.
And then before you know, you're just chucking it around.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also so I did the transfer over where I said old laptop, I release you of this computer soul. You can now go into this computer. I was doing this at about just a little before 5 o'clock this evening. I had a podcast recording at 6 that was remote, so I needed the computer. And it was like, here's how much time it's going to take. Do you want to know how much time it quoted me at the beginning?
How long?
10 hours and 47 minutes.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh no. But then every second or so, it would drop by 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually kind of settled into like, oh, it'll take like half an hour, which it did. And that was fine.
Did your old computer just like let out a really long ghostly moan and then crumble into dust?
I mean, I haven't seen it since I initiated the transfer, so I can only assume that it simply evaporated.
But its soul lives on.
Its soul lives on here, and so too does the soul of this show live on both here and at patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once a month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the Movies.
Yes, where Patrick, myself, and usually a special guest are going to the movies together and then talking about that movie. We just released an episode about Spider-Man Brand New Day, and just before that we released an episode about The Odyssey. But there are other miniseries available on the Patreon, including NCS Detective Club, NCS Goes Broadway, 3 seasons of NCS Arcade, and some of that is available at the free level. That's right, you can get more content for free.
Now look, we're putting out 2 episodes a week, also for free. This is just one more thing that you could get also for free.
Yeah.
Or spend a little money, and then you get like even more on top of that. So if any of that is of interest to you, go check it out. Also, if you're not in our Discord yet, I'm gonna start saying yet. That the people who are listening who aren't in the Discord only aren't there yet. On a long enough timeline, they'll get in the Discord.
Yeah.
It's a fun place to be. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at
gmail.com.
We will send you an invitation. You can hop right in there and chat with us about whatever is going on in the world of Nintendo. And, that's also the place that we go to for corrections about things that we're talking about on the show, right?
Yeah.
Debugs, we call them.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't write them down here, but on Tuesday's episode, we were talking about amiibos that have guns, and we forgot Bayonetta.
Bayonetta, clearly gonna have guns.
She's got guns in the heels of her shoes, and then is also holding 2 guns. Then there was a little bit of conversation about Zero Suit Samus. Does that count as she's holding like a sort of futuristic looking blaster, which we know in the game to be like a stun gun of sorts. It doesn't look like a toy in the way that a Splatoon weapon does.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this may be cheating. It's like to me it looks like a Star Wars blaster.
Sure. It's
Um
a little bit of like an edge case, I think.
and so I mean those are guns, but they're not really, or I don't consider them guns in the
Right.
same way that I
Right.
consider like Bayonetta's guns. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely gun like.
It's the close. It's the only one where I feel like there's gray area.
Yeah.
And then also Captain Falcon has a gun, like a pistol in his in a holster. So that's 2 for sure, or 3 if we want to count the Bayonetta as 2 separate amiibo, because she has player 1 and player 2 versions. And then Captain Falcon, he definitely has one. And then then it's sort of like an edge case for Samus, Zero Suit Samus.
Yeah, I mean that's a debug on top of a debug.
It's a debug on top of a debug. We're working it out in real time. You could be participating in this if you head on over to the Discord. Also, Mark, I had a book that came out this week, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Anatomy of a Mutant. The book is out in stores right now. I wrote it. It's full of original art by Matteo Santaloco. And it is very cool. So if you are interested in that at all, go to wherever you buy books and buy it there.
Very cool.
All right, Mark, let's get into our topic here. Let's kick off Splatoon Month with our review discussion, I guess, of Splatoon Raiders. So, Mark, I guess maybe we start with, how would you like to start? Just like overall impressions, where we sort of were with Splatoon as a series coming into this game, our hype level leading up to it.
Yeah, because like Splatoon is a series that I got on board with in Splatoon 2. I didn't own a Wii U, and so never put much time into Splatoon at all. I think the one time I played it was at your place. And that
makes
probably
sense, yeah.
was just for a little bit, maybe an hour at most.
Yeah, well, it's a weird game to show people, right? Because there's no like local multiplayer component to it, and because the controls are so kind of wonky, and like there weren't really games that played like that before. I don't know that you would have even had time to like get used to it. Right?
But Splatoon 2 on the Switch, I was really excited for and bought and really enjoyed. Splatoon 2 is definitely the game of like the main Splatoon series that I've put the most time into by far. But it was really, I liked Turf War, and I got, pretty okay at Turf War, but it was really Salmon Run. That was my ticket, because I've always been more into cooperative gameplay, rather than like PvP or anything like that.
Yeah, and I would say that was sort of my initial hang up with the series. I've been playing it since Splatoon 1, as you mentioned, that you played the original a tiny bit, possibly, at my place. So I have been, like every single one of these games has been a day one purchase for me. And I probably put the most time into Splatoon 1, and, had gotten so like, I don't know. It was the kind of game that had like enough, just like little choices that you could make to like upgrade stuff ever so slightly, that I wished that there was a like obsessive podcast about it at the time that I could have listened to with like strategies and people like really, breaking down tape and like really getting deep into the game. And then every Splatoon since then has been like a little bit of a diminishing returns thing for me. Just because, like you, I'm not actually that crazy about PvP, right? That I want to play in cooperative ways or by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've played the single player mode of all 3 of the main Splatoon games. I played a lot of Octo expansion from Splatoon 2. I know I've got to play Side Order. That'll be on my list of things to do during Splatoon month.
Splatoon Raiders reminds me of Side Order quite a bit.
Yes. Well, I would say that the loop in Splatoon Raiders is reminiscent of most of the fun roguelike games that I have played too. Even if it's not exactly that same thing, it's just so quick at getting you into the next challenge that is not very long. Most of these challenges are brief, and I just have fun while I do them.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I have never really connected with the single player modes in the Splatoon main games.
This is vastly superior to any of them. Like far, and it makes me wonder, and because they're not that like different, really.
No, especially well, I don't know. Kind of
I
think
guess
that
it's
they
the progression
are.
that's so different. Yeah.
Yeah, well, even like the design of the levels themselves. Like and again, this is based on my limited experience with those single player campaigns, because normally I would play a little bit and either there'd be a difficulty spike that I'm like, this is just not worth it to me, or I would just bounce because I just kind of found it boring. I would say the closest thing to, in my opinion, to those single player experiences, especially the ones that come in the base games, not like Octo Expansion or Side Order or anything like that, is the sampler dungeons in Splatoon Raiders.
Sure. Right.
Where there's like the sampler dungeons are different because they're giving you like a specific gadget to use, or specific gadgets, or like a weapon and a gadget or something like that.
You're restricted in a way that you aren't otherwise throughout the game. Yeah.
But like the way that they're presented, where you're in kind of like
sort of liminal
a warehouse,
space.
like space, and there's
you don't think they're in the back rooms, do you?
I don't think they're in the back rooms, but I haven't seen that movie, so maybe they are.
I think it's possible that they've slipped into the back rooms.
I think it is possible.
Okay,
it's for sure possible.
Okay, we'll look into it.
But
because again, as this is Splatoon month, we are wearing our lab coats.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we are part of the Squid research team, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, and it's totally fine if you're not.
I did see backrooms, yeah.
Yeah. I'm wearing the lab coat everywhere.
Oh, yes.
I'm just wearing it all the time.
To bed. Right, okay.
Yeah.
And in the shower.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I change into my raincoat lab coat.
I see. And then when I get out, I change into my bathrobe lab coat. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. But to me, the sampler dungeons, which I actually found really fun, like a fun way to the sampler dungeons also remind me of the challenge spaces in Super Mario Sunshine. Again, it's all kind of like that same
where they
thing.
take away the flood. Well, and so you're right that is also a lot of the way that the single player like dungeons would present themselves in previous Splatoon games. I also think that like the hub worlds in previous Splatoon games would require you to be like running around on foot or like inking area and swimming through it, which is like kind of enjoyable, but the movement when you're just walking in Splatoon, boring and bad.
Yeah.
It's like encouraging you to swim,
for
right?
sure.
But like then that there's like a ramp that you can't swim up, that you have to walk up. It's like, well, then why are we doing this? And Splatoon Raiders is mercifully like, here's a map. It kind of just works as you just select the thing that you want to go to next.
And you can go there so fast. And then when you're done with that, you can back out and be back where you were.
So quickly, yeah.
Yes, all of that is really nice. So I would say that to me, this felt very different from the traditional Splatoon single-player campaign. Positive.
Yes, I will agree with that. I would say that another thing that this game just like sort of in its form or just like in the abstract, another thing that it has going for it is that your character has a direct relationship with Deep Cut, with the idols of this game, which are the same idols from Splatoon 3. And normally these characters in any of the Splatoon games are there to sort of like host the show, talk about what's going on in the world of like a Splatfest or just Turf War or whatever. They'll let you know when like Salmon Run is available. And they're always like colorful, interesting characters, and like people have one that they like and one that they don't like, and whatever. And you learn like who they are a little, what their personalities are like. But in this, they all serve as like a separate little power up that travels with you. They have like wants within the world, like the narrative of this game. They have different focuses, like Fry being a member of this like eel clan thing, like that's cool. Shiver commanding this like giant megalodon shark is very neat, and then Big Man just like going out and like messing stuff up himself. They're so active and fun that the value of those characters has raised so much to me from playing this game.
Yeah, I completely thought so too. It was it's nice to like get to know them in
Right.
that way.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Rather than like the remove that the idols are in the other two games, which makes a lot of sense. And you encounter them in the side story, in like the single player campaigns and all that kind of
Sure.
stuff, but not to the same degree. They're not given the same sort of like connection with your player character.
Right. Well, and like that, yeah, exactly. That like you see them motivated by things.
Yeah.
Is just, and they're not playable characters, necessarily, but like, you do choose one of them to go with you and like act as your special move. And when you're using big mans, you're literally riding around on him, right?
And I feel like we will probably talk about this more later when we get into the specifics of the game and our experience with it. But I think the game does a really good job with the Deep Cup members as well, of just being like, no, you're not going to pick a favorite and then stick with it the entire time.
Yes.
Like, the game really encourages you, forces you sometimes for the better to be like, no, mix it up. Like, now you're going to use this other person. If you really want to get the most out of this game, you should be switching between them.
You should be switching everything basically all the time.
Yes.
So maybe we talked now a little bit about how just like in like the broad sense, like how this is different from a regular Splatoon game, something that we hinted at. But like the main engine of a regular Splatoon game is turf war, is this 4-on-4. You're trying to ink more ground than your opponents. As a function of this, you are also going to be splatting each other, which is Splatoon's version of killing.
Yeah.
But that's all in service of trying to get more ink on the table than your opponent's team.
And then in Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3, they introduced Salmon Run, and Salmon Run works a little bit differently than that. You're working in groups of 3, and you're taken to these like island spaces. They're different, like docks, whatever, beaches, and your goal is to defeat these enemies called Salmonids, and they drop eggs, and your goal is to collect a certain number of eggs, and then there's like 3 challenges in like a round, and in order to progress through each challenge, you have to collect a certain number of eggs, and that's variable depending on a bunch of different factors. And this game, Splatoon Raiders, is very much based on the mechanics, the ideas of Salmon Run.
With the, and I mean, like, check me on this if I'm not correct in this, but Splatoon Raiders is much more interested in what the Salmonids are and like what their world or culture is like. That like we kind of just see them as mindless enemies in Splatoon, in a Salmon Run, but in this it's like you're digging up their artifacts and like finding their power eggs and stuff, and like uncovering all of these like tomes or like these pieces of they're like architectural drawings or stuff like that. Like it is clear that they're not there's something here that you're disturbing by looting it.
Well, and I guess spoilers for the game. I don't know if
yeah, sure. I mean, it's how deep spoiler are you going to get right now?
Well, it's I guess like plot stuff, which feels weird to say because plot, there is a story to this game.
Yeah, but let's just not give away the end right now, I guess.
Okay. Well then,
or do you want? Because
no, I don't have to talk about it. And but anyways, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with Salmonids.
Yes,
most of it is you're not seeing it. It's either in the text that you're looking at, or people talk about this is what's happening in the outside world.
Yes,
but you're removed from it because you're on this treasure hunt looking for
gold. Yeah. And this is like the setup for the game is like you are the helicopter pilot who is also a mechanic, I guess, for Deep Cut, this trio of singers, idols, whatever, who also happen to be treasure hunters.
They got a little Wario in them.
They got just a little Wario in them. And so you take them out to the Spirhalite Islands and then get caught in a storm, crash, and then you're marooned there for like months.
Yeah, seemingly.
before they start to and everyone kind of goes like commando during this little like time jump at the beginning, and the makeover that they all get to be a little bit more like action is so cool. I
Uh-huh.
love the way these three characters look at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel that. I didn't love the members of Deep Cut like I had the idol, like Callie and Marie.
Right.
Um,
Who are the idols from Splatoon 2
right, but
and whose name is Off the Hook, is that right, or is that
yeah, I think that is
or
right.
is that
No,
Callie
no,
and
no, 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 no. Callie and Marie are
Splatoon 1?
Splatoon 1, but
Pearl
I
and
meant
Marina.
Pearl and Marina.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And I think
From
they're off the hook.
Yeah, yes, from Splatoon 2. Um, and so it definitely made me like Shiver Fry and Big Man a lot more. Like this game did.
Yes.
And that's partly because I just didn't play Splatoon 3 as much as I had Splatoon 2.
Sure, right.
But yes, their makeover to be like island ready,
Yeah,
discovery ready,
they're always ready to go out
exploration
on
ready
an
is very
adventure.
good.
Yeah. And so they establish a sort of like floating base that is, like sort of classic Splatoon aesthetic of like rusted metal and like wood and stuff just kind of cobbled together.
Yeah, your hideout.
And through the course of the game, you will be upgrading this hideout and, adding sort of like training room stuff to it, in addition to upgrades, like upgrade stations.
I never upgraded my training space.
Okay.
Other than to get the arcade cabinet, but I only upgraded it. I only bought it the one time to get it. And then I played those arcade games a little bit and was like, this is just not important to me. But then I felt like anytime I had currency to upgrade with, it's like I'm not gonna use it on the training room. I don't.
You should. It's fun, and also it doesn't use that much.
No,
like
no,
they're
cheap
the
compared to
Spirhalite cost
everything
there
else.
is always pretty low.
Yeah, but no, I was like, oh, my Spirhalite is so precious. I'm not going to spend it on this.
So the arcade games that you can buy in this is sort of a return from the first Splatoon that they've been absent ever since. But these
I think there were some in 2.
were there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't remember that, but there aren't any in 3. Is that because there's that like the table turf?
Oh, right, the card game thing in 3 could be. Yeah.
But so yeah, it's like a little 8-bit imagined arcade games like set within the world of Splatoon. Those first 2 games are probably like the best of them. The third one's pretty fun too, actually. But the first one, which is called Mining, is like you're a little drill, like just mining down into the earth. And there's like a button to accelerate, and otherwise all you're doing is like dodging obstacles in there.
And there's a real like momentum
Yes.
to the movement that you have to get used to.
Yeah, and you collect little Spiralite that gives you more time, and it's just based on how far into this thing you can go in the time allotted for you. I love mining. I think it's so fun. I do have an A rank in it. I don't know if it goes higher than A rank. I love it. It's I think it's the best of the arcade games across the games. Although possibly there are games in 2 that I don't know exist. I wish they would just collect all these somewhere for us to play the games from the arcade games from both games. But anyway, that's just a stupid little thing that you can do that I spent too much time messing around with.
Yes, but you're like, as you're upgrading your base, you can upgrade the hideout structurally like 3 times.
Yes.
It just gets bigger and bigger. But the amount of things that you are able to manipulate or upgrade, like or build or change, like there are so many different things as the game progresses that give you options.
Yes.
Because you mentioned it earlier, and I would say like I did not do this as like I think you could really, 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 before you go out on any mission, think about the optimal loadout and then either
Yes.
craft it or
put it together.
Yeah. And I did not do that, but that option is available. There are so many things here for you to be min-maxing if that's how
Absolutely.
your brain works.
Yes. Well, and I mean, just you and I have both rolled credits on this game. it seems like there is a ton to do after that, including super spicy versions of basically everything, every level that you've already played. So there's like the regular version, and then after you beat that, you can go back in for a spicy version, which is usually like twice as hard, and then the super spicy, which is just way more difficult than that. So between that and the other challenges that populate after you roll credits, it makes me think that to continue to play, I will have to have that same like that attention to detail that you were speculating about here. That I can see myself doing that, being like, what exactly do I need to do in order to get through this challenge?
So
And I will say there was one that we'll talk about, I'm sure, where I also did that, where I was like, it needs to be a speed loadout. I need to have these two things leveled up in exactly this way. But yeah, it is in before you beat the game, that is not as required.
So, we mentioned that it's really taking the gameplay of Salmon Run and going with that. So the way that the game works is that there is a world map that opens up. Obviously, the more progress you make,
it's covered by fog for a while.
By fog.
You got to clear that fog, Mark.
And there are different types of levels that you will encounter that ask you to do different things. So the one that you start with is, and one of the primary ones is, you are in a space. Like one of the first ones you encounter seems to be like some sort of abandoned water park that maybe is used to be some place that the Salmonids would go. But
probably to have fun because they have culture and they're normal and we're invading their land.
And this one is usually, and these are fair. These levels are fairly linear. There are sometimes like side areas that you can go to, or like a corner you can turn to unlock something. But for the most part, these are pretty linear. You go from space to space. You defeat the enemies that are in that area. You collect some salmonid eggs. And then at the end, you get to a big crystal of Spirhalite that you break open. The bot that's following you drills down into, and then you collect a treasure. And that's like the end of one of those levels. So that's one what you encounter a lot.
And crucially, that is not timed.
Right.
There's no time limit there. Whereas in most of the rest of these, there is a time limit that you are trying to collect. Usually, you're trying to collect eggs as fast as you can.
Yeah, those are kind of like, in my mind, what like the raids. I don't know what they call them.
Yeah, I think they call them dungeons, possibly.
Yeah, those are the ones where you're drilling down.
Yes.
And so those sometimes will just have one level, sometimes have three, sometimes have two. Like, it varies. But yes, those are like,
and by the end, 10.
You're this is probably the most Salmon Run-ish, right? You're in a smaller area. They are just throwing waves of enemies at you, and you just have to figure out how to maneuver, how to use your gadgets and everything the best to collect as many eggs, to collect the amount of eggs that you need to fill the meter before time runs out.
Right. Well, and the way in which this is so vastly improved over Salmon Run, which again is a good game mode that I think you and I both really like, is that the arenas are crafted for the types of enemies that they're going to throw at you. So they present specific challenges. In Salmon Run, it's really just like, here's the one layout. Sometimes the water level is lower or higher. So like it can change a little bit what that is, but it's just going to randomly throw salmonid bosses at you. And you just have to kind of tackle them the same way every time. Whereas the like layout of these arenas can be as impactful as what you're fighting there.
And those like raids are my favorite levels to do in Splatoon Raiders.
Yeah.
The ones I really do not particularly care for is the ones where you're in like a big space, kind of like that first level type we talked about. But instead of it being linear, it's like a space that you can explore.
More open, yeah.
And there's a large crystal in the middle, like Spiralite crystal in the middle, that you can get only after you've collected a certain amount of eggs.
But there are little Spiralite crystals that you can also mine.
And they regenerate, and so you have to return to them. And you have to do this a couple of times before you finally have enough. And I would always go past like the minimum and just get as many eggs as I can to max out the meter, so you get 2 times the Spiralite.
Yes.
But those are my least favorite types of levels, and so when it came to like doing the harder versions of them, it was always begrudgingly because
Sure,
I just
that's funny. I always like them because it's like it's a little bit of a breather. Like the really time constrained like dungeon areas where like you get down to the final 10 seconds and the numbers are flashing up on the screen. And I get down to like 3, 2, and then like I finally get like eggs full. Like I have like a body reaction to that where I'm like, and so it can sometimes be a nice relaxing bit to explore those other spaces.
I think my big complaint is maybe too strong of a word. Area for improvement that I would like to see in a sequel to Splatoon Raiders is that I don't think the game gives you very good incentives for exploring the spaces that it puts you in. I think the spaces are kind of boring.
Yeah.
And, obviously comparing it to something like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey is not really fair. They're doing different things. The spaces have to be more designed for like combat in mind and all that kind of stuff. And I think
then kind of why introduce these exploration areas?
Well, and I also think the game gets better at it as you go on.
Sure.
But still not very good. Like, I feel like there were so many times where I'd be like, oh, I wonder what's over this hill. I wonder what's over in this corner. Oh, nothing. There's literally nothing here. Like,
right.
And I feel like the best video games, the best Nintendo games are ones that design the levels to make you think, oh, I wonder what's over here. And then you look and there's at least something that made it worth your while.
Right.
And that sense of like discovery to be like, oh, now I have to check everywhere.
Right. And that's just like not where this game's priorities are.
Right.
Like this game's priorities are in like optimization of your like movement and attack within the space that they are presenting.
I just found it so disappointing to be like, the hidden areas in these levels just mean, oh, when you're walking and you see a path to the left, go to that path to the left, blow something up, and then walk back to the main path.
It is kind of classic video game of like you come to a fork in the road and you like look one way and you see like a bunch of other stuff and like the path keeps going. You're like, okay, well, I'll check over here first, find the like 20 extra Spiralite, and then like keep going.
Yeah.
I would say as long as we're airing grievances, my other complaint here, a lot of bad music in this game.
Salmonids, turns out, like discordant music.
They like discordant music that like just sounds I don't like it.
No, it's really disappointing for a series that I think like music is such a important part of the Splatoon series and an important part of this game. And so to have it be bad for a lot of these levels that you're walking around in.
It's strange.
Yeah.
I guess there's also like less fashion in this game too. Like you have different outfits that you can change into, but it's a complete outfit.
Mm-hmm.
In previous Splatoon games, you're always like customizing like your hat, your shirt, and your shoes, and leveling those things up specifically. There's just one outfit that you put on. It doesn't change your stats at all. I guess if you have a different tank attached, like that also changes the way you look a little bit, but it's just not that sort of aesthetic stuff is not as much. There's less expression in this game, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's also, I think, speaks to the like single player nature of the game. Like, who are you showing off for?
Right.
And I'm saying single player, but like you can definitely play this game cooperatively with strangers or friends online. But like every time I do that, and we get like a little victory screen at the end where it shows like the 3 mechanics together, I'm always like, which one am I?
I know. Yeah, I didn't really feel strongly about any of the outfits. Like I kept unlocking outfits, and then I would go in there. I ended up using one of the ones that you helped me unlock by borrowing your amiibo.
Yeah, which one?
It was like orange pants. I don't know how to describe it.
Like
orange jumpsuit thing.
Yeah, so that is the outfit that you get when you scan any Splatoon amiibo, just not the divas from this game. So yeah, that is the basic like Salmon Run outfit.
No. Not the basic Salmon Run outfit.
Okay.
I know what you're referring to. No, it's I don't know how to describe it. It's
I think it's Fry's outfit.
Yeah, I think it is.
There's
That makes
there's a
sense.
shiver one, a fry one, and a big man one.
That makes sense. But otherwise, like I would unlock the new costumes. I would go in and just be like, huh. Like I wish I could mix and like you were saying, mix and match this a little bit more. An area for more exploration next time, possibly.
Yes, possibly. And the shoes. Let me change shoes.
Let me change shoes.
But okay. So we were sort of hinting at the customization to like how you can change your loadout between matches. And I think we should maybe talk a little bit about the speed tank, the power tank, and the tactical tank, and what all of that like implies and what sort of cascades out from the choice you make of which tank to use. I started using the power tank. It doesn't really guide you into like which one.
No, not at all.
So you just get to pick, and like which do you prioritize is kind of up to you. What did you start with?
I started with tactical, and I would say that I probably fell back on tactical the most. I would call that my default. But again, the game does such a good job of incentivizing you to, because you could probably pick one and play through the entire game with it. But there are times where there
are times when you need the speed tank,
right? Or you just want it because there are those like buried ruins that incentivizes you to go. You get a different treasure for using the different tanks, and then as you level up your tank,
it's not complete until you've beaten it 3 times with the 3 different tanks,
right? And you get different what are they called? The things,
gadgets.
Gadgets, but then also like the relics or whatever that you can equip.
That are like the charms that go on there.
But yes, I started with tactical, and I would say that was the one that I leaned on the most.
So for like all of these things, there's like a base like little stat boost that just like equipping that tank has, and then the tank has levels in and of itself, 3 separate levels that like one level will unlock an ability for that tank. It's usually something that triggers after you've been swimming for a little bit, and so it's different for each one of those, and then they earn those different like charms, like you were saying. And on top of that, they each have up to 5 gadgets that are associated with it that you can equip 3 at a time, eventually starting with 2 at a time. Starting with 1? Starting with 2.
Yeah, technically starting with 1 because you don't have enough Spirhalite to like build the second one. But yeah, from the beginning, you theoretically there's 2 slots.
Gotcha.
And then when you upgrade it, the tank's the third time, you get a third slot plus each of the tanks that you upgrade, you can use a gadget from one of the other tanks. So like when I fully upgraded tactical, I could then use a gadget from power. And
I didn't know that.
And power, you can use one gadget from speed, and speed you can use one tactical gadget.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, so at that point again you can start like, so by the end when I had my when I was mostly using tactical, not entirely, but mostly using tactical, I had my torque screw, which is like a fan blade basically that will suck salmonites in, but then also can let you levitate. And then I had the shot pot, which is like the machine that you can throw out, the turret that you can throw out and it shoots. And then I would use the meteor mitt from power, which allows you to jump up and like slam down really
so
hard.
You're pulling them in and then just like blasting the heck out of them with the turret and then punching them down with the fist.
Yeah. What gadgets were your like go-tos?
So I really with only a handful of exceptions, like I used everything. Like I really liked switching them around. I hang on to the Splatchet from the power set.
Yeah, that's so funny. I didn't use that one at all.
I love it. So it dashes forward a certain number of times, and then and each one of those is like a swipe with the Splatchet, and then the final like big one, which I think is really cool. What did you call the power hand slamming
meteor mitt?
Meteor mitt. I use that one a lot too. But within like the speed set, I love the the boomerang that spins out and then like comes back to you
I
and
didn't
like
use that
circles
one.
around.
Yeah.
I use that a lot in conjunction with like their version of the meteor mitt, which
Yeah,
is like
the
a jump
blast boot.
blast boot. Thank you for having all these names,
Yeah.
Mark. That like it goes forward and then dives down.
Yeah.
And then the do you know the name of this one? The Spider-Man one,
The Flywire.
Flywire, yes.
Yeah.
Which is good for covering a lot of distance and then like hitting with a big
Yeah, it's kind of like a
explosion
hook
at the
shot
end.
type thing. Yeah.
It's a hook shot, but also like when you get to your destination, there's a big ink explosion.
Well, and one of the, again, very cool things about all the different gadgets is within the gadgets themselves, there are upgrades for them or in different abilities that you can apply. But
And this is where it becomes like madness, by the way, where like when I realized the depth of the customization of these things, that I was like, oh my, because you can open up like a shop within your hideout where you can start crafting them, and later where you can upgrade them.
yeah.
So like if you're like, man, I really I want my Splatolites, which is is that a power one or is it tactical?
It's a power one.
It's power. Another one that I used a lot, which is just like where these things like circle you. I want them to be faster. I want them to be further away from me. I want them to deal more damage. I want them to also deal vertical damage. All of that is customizable within these little upgrades that you slot into the gadgets, and you can spend these skill points to upgrade the number of slots. Like there is this never ending treadmill of how can I like minorly improve my character the next time I send them out.
But and I'm curious, from people who have more of a min-max mindset, especially for this game, because it seems to me, so every time your character levels up, you get a skill point.
Yes.
And every time you do those compass like sampler dungeons, at the end of it, you get another skill point.
Yes.
But I feel like the game, from my perspective, like you can, to a certain degree, say, okay, I'm going to put as many skill points as I can up front into XP. Or into health points. I'm going to put as many as I can up front into upgrading the amount of things I can attach to my gadget. Like, but there reaches a certain point where it's like, no, you're maxed out for now, and you have to put this into upgrading your weapon damage. You have to put this into upgrading your health damage until you reach a certain point.
You have to use a certain number of skill points until you can release the limiters on each of those things. So yeah, it does like a pretty decent job of not letting you way overpower one stat while ignoring the others. But you can't pretty early on I was like, I'm just going to go like gadget attack power like that. I'm just going to, that'll be the first one that I go to every time. Because I don't know about you, I am spamming my gadgets. Like the second they like the cooldown is over, I'm just like firing them again.
I don't know how you do it without. I don't know how you play this game without doing that.
That's a great point. But that's I live and die by my gadgets.
Well, another weapon or another thing that I feel like if I wanted to, I could have gotten much smarter about it, is I really favored certain weapons or certain weapons types, but there were times where I was like, oh, my usual like splatter shot or like dualies or whatever, like just aren't cutting it. I have to use buckets. Like, do you remember the one where like there's the it's one of those like raids, or I can't remember what you're calling them, but where they were just spamming the towers with the Salmonites that are like spinning in a circle on tethers to them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, okay. The fish sticks is what they're called.
Yeah, the fish sticks. Where it's just spamming fish sticks, and it's like my equipment is just not like cutting it.
Yeah,
and so
that's a tough one.
I took a bucket to it, and it's like, oh, bucket. That's like, for me, that's like what ended up doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think if I was more comfortable with some of the other weapons, that I would have been able to manage some of the challenges better, but I really kind of just stuck to my guns, literally, where I'm like, these are the 4 that I'm like really comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so I basically am just using those as much as possible.
And would you classify like the type of weapon that you stuck with mostly as like just sort of basic guns, like your like you said, splatter shot, dualies, that kind of thing?
What I ended up using the most, especially towards the end of the game, were like the blasters. So the rate of fire is lower, but
but the damage is
is higher. Like I had one that was like the butane blaster that was level 41. I think it was like a level like 3,
a 3-star,
3-star, or maybe 4-star item.
It's the 5 stars that has no max on how much you can upgrade them.
Yeah. But anyways, that's and so my
oh yeah. By the way, you can upgrade your weapons as well.
And if you have weapons you don't want, you can trash them, and that gives you more Spirhalite for you to like upgrade. Like there's so much.
The cycle of upgrade is so good, and that is the thing that makes it feel like a perfect roguelike to me. Even though I know this game is not that. Like the between rounds upgrading is so feeds that.
Well, and the other thing that's so nice is that like failure makes you stronger. It reminds me of like a Dragon Quest game in that way. Like Dragon Quest famously, one of the guiding principles for that series when it was first created is like, this game is imminently beatable. Anybody can beat it as long as you're willing to put in the time, grind, right? You will eventually get strong enough where you'll be able to defeat these enemies. And that's how it is in this game as well, where it's just like, you can die in this and we're going to give you the experience points, and so if you keep doing it, you will eventually be strong enough that you can go back. You can skip a challenge. A lot of times there are a few challenges that like to progress, you have to keep going, but a lot of the side ones you could just skip and then go back to later once you've leveled up a bunch. Like I think the game is really welcoming in that way.
I think so too. It's welcoming in that way, and like the first time you decide to go back to an area to like either do it again as is, or even do it in like spicy when you've just like moved on even a couple challenges, you come back to it and you're like, oh, I have gotten stronger. Like it is noticeable and like exciting when you can feel that difference. I mean, it's just as we're talking about it, I'm just like stopping to be like, man, I love this game. It's so fun.
Did you have a member of Deep Cut that you favored, just like with like tanks? Because you are playing this solo if you choose to, but there's always the helper bot, the bot buddy with you. And the bot buddy is also shooting at enemies. You can also use it for sometimes like annoyingly, especially in the early levels where you're like, oh, I want to kill that thing. Yeah. Like you didn't have it, like
I got it. Settle down, sit down.
But definitely so the bot buddy follows you, will attack enemies. You can use it to do these like bot boosts where you're jumping, and you can use that to either attack enemies from above or for exploration in some areas.
And maybe like the only way I know how to kill those like flying saucer guys.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I use the bot boost and then just like land on the UFO and like drill into them. But yes.
But inside the bot is one of the members of Deep Cut, and depending on the one you have with you, they have a different like finishing or like special move that powers up as you're like killing Salmonids.
So does the game start you with Big Man? Is that why I was Big Man until they forced Shiver on me?
My memory, I don't know. I thought you had an option of choosing it at the beginning, like when they introduced that, where it's like, which one do you want to go with? But I chose Big Man as well.
Right. So either we are both in the tank for a Big Man,
which is possible,
which is true, or they start you off with Big Man. Yeah, and I didn't even really think to change it. I kind of was like, oh, it's maybe just like an aesthetic thing. Like I didn't realize they had different finishers.
Right, especially at the beginning. But then when you realize again that it's like, oh, I can level these up. And the way I level these up is by playing with, it's like, I've got to play with all of them. Like level all of them up.
It's another bar to fill.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, as in the first, so there are like 3 boss fights throughout the course of the game, and then like a big boss fight at the end. And then I'm sure that we'll talk post game stuff a little bit later. But for the first boss fight, Shiver demands to go with you.
Yeah.
And that's the first time where the game takes the wheel and is like, this is going to be your bot buddy for this one. And so that was my first time using her. And I like Shiver just fine. I like both of the other. I like both Shiver and Fry more than Big Man ultimately. But I ran with Fry most of the game.
The Moray Storm
Is so good.
is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found Big Man's one to be the least helpful, and honestly, maybe it's because I don't entirely understand what I feel like I'm just supposed to be like shooting stuff. I don't really know.
The problem with Big Man's is like you're in control of it while it's happening, and what I love about the other ones is that like you can set them on their mission and then you can keep running around.
Right, like Moray Storm is a bunch of eels basically come down from the sky with the Big Bite or this is the leveled up version, but Shivers is like Big Bite Royal. It's basically like the shark, and I
Yes.
think you can like point the shark in the direction you want it to go.
Yeah,
and
you
then
can.
you let it
You
loose.
can. Yes.
Right.
Right, but like, and it takes a little bit for that to actually like fire. But like, I will frequently set that thing off, and then like,
It's like another gadget.
yeah, absolutely.
Versus Big Man, where you have to actually like control and engage
Yes,
and like all
yes.
that kind of stuff. The other way that this is different from Salmon Run is that it introduces these scarier versions of bosses. It introduces more different like boss salmonids, but
Yes.
also there's like seasoned salmonids, which are covered in salt. And
It's very good. It's a wonderful play on words that they are seasoned in that they are experienced, but they are physically seasoned in that they are salted.
And so they're more challenging versions. And then there's these mythic salmonids, which are like even more scary. And those are usually the bosses that you mentioned. There's like 3 bosses. And I think those are the mythic salmonids that you encounter.
Yeah.
And those don't show up in regular like raids or anything. They're just in those boss encounters.
No, but there is one of the like seasoned salmonids or like the bigger ones that I didn't see until like the very end of the game. That's like the big forearm muscle guy.
Oh,
Which is great. A great like sub boss type. It's when they start throwing these like big seasoned guys at you, or like multiples at a time, the game is just so good at casually throwing in enemies that you perceived as boss characters previously,
Yeah.
and just like overwhelming you with them. Is so fun and so cool.
I want to talk about the final boss in the game, but I don't know if we should do that now or try to save it like spoilerly stuff for the end.
Yeah,
but I do want to talk about it.
I do too, because I also really like that story beat. I guess neither of us have. Let's talk just before we move into like sort of end game and post game stuff. About the way like the multiplayer works. We haven't done any like starting rooms or like lobbies together. But if it is anywhere near as easy it is to either request help or go help someone like a rando, then it's a miracle, because it's so fast. Every time I've requested help or gone out to help someone, it happens pretty much instantaneously. You have a fun time with 2 strangers, and then it's over.
Yeah, I really like this mechanic. So
Which sounded like I was describing a hookup app, but I was not.
Both things can be true.
But 2 things can be true. That's right.
But yeah, I really, really like this call for help and like go to help mechanic. I can't remember exactly what it's called.
Yeah.
But because at any time when you're on like the map, you can choose the go help option. And what that does is like somebody who has called for help, like you don't get to choose, you just randomly get put into
a level that you've already beaten.
To try to help somebody else get through it. And then for call to help, it's like, uh-oh. And I did this multiple times, be like, oh, well, I'm going to call for help. You get 3 people in here who are like 10 levels above me.
Right.
And we just like destroy.
Carry me, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what talking about endgame stuff, but there are certain vanishingly few, but there are a few where it's like you can't get help here.
And it makes sense that like for that final boss fight that you wouldn't be able to. But
getting to the final boss fight, there was definitely a time when I was like, I'm absolutely calling for help.
Yeah, sure. I get that. I did not. I only called for help when I was just like screwing around and having fun going back into level. Or I guess sometimes if I was revisiting a spicy version of level that I had just done in like the normal mode, and I just wanted to have a different experience with it. I have yet to do it out of desperation,
I also
but I certainly will after like messing around with some of the post game stuff.
I also really liked going to help. Like, I thought that
Yes.
was fun as well, as being able to jump in. Again, you just do one level and then you bounce, right? Like, there's no option to continue playing with those people or anything like that. You're just a mercenary going in, helping the person who needs help, and then you're done, and you get rewards for doing it.
Right, and like you can earn costumes for doing that kind of stuff too. The thing that one thing that I sort of like about the call to help and going to help people is that the game anonymizes you too. The people that you're meeting up with are identified as like snow crab and like moray eel, and you're called, something, some other sea thing, and then at the end it's over, and it's just like whatever. You know that those are other people, but like there's it feels like I can't be blamed for doing a bad job.
I totally see where you're coming from. I don't know. I'm a little more mixed on it. Because one of the things that was a surprise for me in playing Splatoon 2, and a little bit in Splatoon 3 as well, but Splatoon 2 is where I spent most of my time, is that, you'd be playing Salmon Run or Turf War with people, and then afterwards you just send them a friend request and be like, hey, like, oh, this person I was playing Salmon Run with is online. Like, that was fun. Let's do it again. And I feel like...
but you
I think
can
it's
do
fine.
that, though. You can set up the rooms to...
Yes, but if somebody really helped you out in a mission and you're like, oh, cool, I would want... It's a little bit different because you're doing one mission with this person.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's not enough to know, oh, this person was a lot of fun to play with. So, but to me, I guess I understand why Nintendo did it. But
I guess I just think that it's still kind of there. It's just not in the easy, like, help me with this one.
But I guess what I'm saying is,
you just wish that you could also,
yes, exactly,
tag people that you enjoyed in those.
Yeah,
I get it. But also, I like not being able to disappoint people, or them not knowing that I am the one disappointing them. Anything else that we want to touch on before we start getting into the end game stuff and story?
Yeah, I know, because there's like so many things. There's like relic powers that we kind of talked about, but
right. And like what those that the relics all are like. They have designed all these like interesting little artifacts from the Salmonid Society,
and then they will like connect together.
I know, it's so
and
cool.
And as you get more relics and the value of the relics go up, it's just another thing that there's another meter that increases, because as it goes up, you like level up the bonus amount of Spirhalite that you're collecting at all times.
As the total value of your collection goes up, your like explorer ranking goes up.
Yeah.
Do you know what level of explorer you are?
No, I didn't write that one down.
Where do you find that? So there's a horde in here where you can check all of your stuff. I guess maybe in the relic collection. Yeah,
there you go.
I am an ace adventurer. My shard yield is plus 70% right now. But you in the horde you can check on your relic collection, your briny scrolls, which is like all of the lore in the game, all the like little documents that they created, and as always, like art within the Splatoon world is awesome. Like it's just so good and so fun. You can also check on Salmonid research, which has like pencil drawings of all the Salmonids you've encountered. And there are like 3 levels of knowing these guys, and it's all about how many you've killed. And you can earn like gems and stuff that way. You can check your weapon collection and your gadgets as well. Basically anything that you can collect, the game is keeping track of and showing back to you and rewarding you for meeting certain benchmarks along the way.
Yep.
Shall we move into spoilery territory here?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so as you encounter each of these bosses, they as Mark said, they're all these like mythic salmonids, and each of the members of Deep Cut like accompanies you on one of them, and Shiver during the first one, or maybe it's even like in the lead up to it, they learn that like the song is the key, that like they're going to have to sing to these mythic salmonids in order to like unlock what they perceive to be a treasure at the heart of the Spiralite archipelago. And so like all of them have this moment as you've like defeated the final boss where they almost seem to be like taken over in a reverie and start singing almost beyond their control. And it causes this where do you even see like the light up happening?
Yeah, so after you defeat each boss in the lead up to like the final boss, I think it's like a scroll or something like
Yeah.
that they find, and then
When you see like a constellation in
yeah,
the
you see a
sky too.
constellation, and that gives you then like a shape or design that is one of the 3 keys needed to unlock a door at the end of this like dark hallway.
Yes.
That eventually leads you to like the final, what they perceive to be a treasure, but like boss battle.
Right. And so when you put all 3 of these together, yeah, like the design on the door is like revealed, and like this is sort of where we can see like the design of this final boss.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 3-headed like salmon dragon thing.
Yeah.
But you know, the whole time they're like they want gold, they're excited about treasure, and they think that like they're going to find a, you know, motherlode of gold, but beyond this door is a giant salmon egg, from which this like monstrosity hatches. But they're also like talking about how the egg like is sort of like a chaos god something or other because it's driving all the salmonids insane.
Right. That's one of the things that like the members of Deep Cut say, but we don't see in it at all, where it's like the Salmonids are attacking every city in the world right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just like I wonder how much of that is true and how much of that is just like what's being presented to it. And like if you die in the final boss fight, there is like a little like and like the Salmonids took over the world.
Can you die in the final boss fight? That's one of the things I
Yes.
wanted to talk about, because
if you don't complete the you know, the like little raid within the 90 seconds, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought the
'cause
final boss fight was not
I fell off a
particularly
bunch
well
of
designed.
times.
I fell off a bunch of times too. Like when it wanted you to traverse from one like area to another.
Yeah.
To me,
They don't totally have that.
No, and
calibrated.
and it feels like they kind of just like were like, okay, whatever. It's just if you die during that part, it doesn't matter. Like you're not really dead. We'll just like, because for the final one, I kept dying, and they just put me at where they wanted me to go.
Yeah, me too. But it's I just wasn't able to get all of the salmon eggs that I needed in that final tranche of it
I see.
before the time was out. But you know, that's yeah, I guess that's so you're fighting this thing in like a strange. Well, first of all, you have to do this thing where you're like surfing around it. Which, you know, I hate it when a video game ends like this, where the final encounter is like a vehicle thing where you're playing a game that's nothing like the game you've been playing.
They minimally introduce this because in some of those
there are
larger
surfboard
levels,
things.
there are surfboards that you, again, kind of like Super Mario Sunshine, that you can ride from like one island to another. But that's in like a direct line, and
this
not
is going
having
around
you do
in
the
a
things.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked it.
I didn't think it was. I didn't dislike it.
I thought it
but
was
yes,
a really hype,
yeah.
cool, fun moment.
Especially because it wasn't like the only thing you had to do. It was the first part.
It's the first part of it, and then the second part ends up being, you know, just like you fight it the way you do everything else. It's just like gathering salmon eggs as fast as you can, with weird platforming in between them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then, well, I mean, what did you want to say about what else did you want to say about this boss fight?
Oh, I didn't really like it.
Oh, okay.
And it's because I'm like the parts where you're just doing what you've done before, where they throw a mass of salmonids at you. You have to fill up the meter, and then you press X, and like the bot
Drill attack,
like drills into like its head or whatever it does. But I just thought the going from platform to platform was so messy. It felt so messy to me and so poorly telegraphed to the user. Like
it definitely is poorly telegraphed.
What it wants you to do, where you should be going right now. And that just felt so bizarre to me, because the rest of the time the game is very clear.
Yes. Well, it's also because like to do a lot of those jumps, you have to do a lot of the bot boosting, like the bot jumps.
And stuff is being shot at you while this is happening.
Well, and just like the bot jumps are slow, and then you're moving on to land that just appeared, so there's no ink on it. So like, okay, you can shoot it and then swim through it, but the platforms are all really small. So you're kind of like, is it even worth it? And so you're walking and doing this slow jump, and you're like, why am I slowing down?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I think the only part of that platforming that is actively bad is the one in the lead up to the final section, just because there are so many where it's like too tall to even bot jump up. So you do have to like paint the side of it and then swim up, or try to use other gadgets to get further up. And really, I just want to get to the next place where I can shoot at salmonids.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, that's why I thought it was fine, and like the platforming parts of it are not like super long or not a main portion of it.
Right.
But it just drove me crazy how poorly like directed that felt to me.
I did like after you do the final like rush, like that final raid, and then it does go into a platforming section, and you have to get to because you're like sort of in the air at this point, like inside a vortex of some kind, and you have to like get over to your hideout, which has also been like swept up in this thing. I thought that was cool, and then like using that to attack the salmon.
Yeah.
I thought it was all really fun.
That was
and
fun.
Exciting.
Yeah, you get to the crane.
Yes.
And yeah. I thought that was really fun. Also, they sing a song. That's kind of like the because we don't see Deep Cut do that at all. And then they do that at the end. And you are a member of the team.
Yes.
You're a member of the family.
Right. It's become Deep Fam at that point. And then, the game is credits roll, and then you're kind of back with Deep Cut, and they're like, hey, but we're going to stay here. And
there's so much more treasure to find.
Which is where then the game introduces the super spicy challenges for basically every map that's already out there. Plus these 3 different like collections of islands and different points on the map, which represent sort of like super challenges. I don't know how much you mess around with any of these. Like,
I did the one that's like the lowest level.
It's like level 42 or something. I attempted it and washed out pretty early and was like, I'll work on this.
I'm totally curious. Where are you right now level wise? Just out of curiosity, I'm wondering if everybody ends the game in similar. Although I guess really you could spend an endless amount of time leveling up, helping other people, or going back and doing like spicy raids. Because there are a lot of spicy raids that I didn't do, or spicy levels, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Because again, if you are more tuned in on like, oh, I really want to upgrade my gadget this way, I need this like part to do it, and so I can go back and do this level because it tells me I'll get 10 of these things.
Right.
Like I didn't really bother with that stuff.
I am level 44.
Okay,
right
that's where I am too. I'm level 44.
But there are also like, and the level cap is 50, I believe. So, we're both pretty close to the level cap.
But it'll take forever to get there because
you level up slowly at this point in the game. But also like there's an endless pit of gadget upgrades to explore that will really make like the difference in being super powerful and super duper powerful, and all of that is based on like spiralite and other materials that you collect.
Yeah, there was one of the like I keep forgetting what they're called. The ones that you do for compasses, the sampler dungeons.
Yes,
there was a sampler dungeon where it's all about movement speed to be able to get up through these obstacles, and there's one of those like salmonids that's on top of a bunch of pots.
Yes,
up there, and then you have to like make it all the way up to the top of this obstacle course, and then kill the salmonid and get the egg before time runs out. And I just cannot do it, and so I called for help on this one. And it was basically like 2 people that were level 50. They go in, what appeared to me just levitate up, just levitate vertically.
Yes.
Like they're ascending to heaven. And I'm like, yep, That's why I called. That's why I called these people.
That's why I prayed for an angel to help me. Yeah, I love that one, but I had to really fine tune my gadgets, my speed gadgets to like get me. I did not levitate. I like took the long way. But obviously there are people who are like specializing in these things. There's another like movement based speed one. It's one of the compass ones. One of the you just named it.
Yes, and
The sampler course.
Yes.
Where the
sampler dungeon,
where the you can only use the dash bomb or the like dive thing from
the blast boot.
Yes. And it's like a long course, like it goes for a really long way. I guess you also have a gun, but it just has like constant refills of the gadgets like everywhere, and so you're stringing together like dash dash jump dash dash.
That's another
jump,
one
dash,
I called
dash.
it for help.
And I loved
I
it.
just like hung back, and
man.
they just like crushed it for me.
I of course saved a video of me.
Very good.
Getting that one. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I will. That's yes, album right here. Here I am at the end of this. So, oh god damn it. Okay, there we go. Blowing up these guys, racing
dashing
along. It's doing a little shortcut there. Boosting.
20 seconds left.
Boosting, jumping, grabbing the item, jumping, boosting. Oh no, here we go. Boosting, almost falling off, jumping, boosting, jumping.
Oh my gosh!
Boosting,
yeah, very
boosting
good.
To
You'll have
the
to
end.
put that in Discord or something.
I will. I do like how frequently this game you wind up with like true nail biters.
Oh yeah, you're really on the edge.
Yeah,
yes, and it makes you feel so triumphant.
Yeah,
when you pull it off.
Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that you and I have not done yet in this game. I know that. Oh, the final dungeon, the way that it works, and I think the way it will continue to work as we go into like post game stuff, is that going down into dungeons previously sort of max of like 3 levels deep, and that's table stakes. That's the first part of the final dungeon, and then there's like a 7 something like that, 6 7 I didn't mean to do that level deep dungeon, and then one that's 10 deep.
Yeah, that's the one I called for help.
I did not call for help on that one, and I died in it once on like the 6th one, and then maybe it was the 7th one, but I wanted to put a little space between. And then the second time I just made it all the way through.
Yeah.
But, I really like the idea of them like stringing together even more of those to make harder dungeons that go deeper. And I know we have a lot of listeners who are in the Discord who have gone like way into the post game here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited to explore that. I am worried that I'm going to hit a like level of difficulty that I can't deal with.
I know, but that's why you can call for help.
That's why you can call for help. That's a great point. Yeah. All right. Anything else to say about Splatoon Raiders before we put this first episode of Splatoon Month to bed?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing for me, just to sum it up, is that I was really excited for this, and I think it totally delivered exactly what I wanted. I can't believe this game. I can't and can also believe that this game is only $50.
I agree, because it is, less of an experience, less of a whole experience than a like mainline Splatoon game, but like it's way more of an experience than like a lot of full price first party Nintendo games.
Yeah. So
this is an easy recommend for me. Like, I think if you're into like action games of kind of any kind, this one is just full of it from start to finish.
And it feels like a complete fun experience, but
Totally.
There's also room where it's like, oh yeah, I would like to see a sequel for this in 5 years, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because I think that they could there's still room for exploration in all of this. They haven't blown it out as big as you can blow this out.
Yeah, it's interesting because like Splatoon is one of the younger franchises, even though, as discussed recently on the show, it's over 10 years old at this point. But and there's only been these 4 games, right? It's not like they're you can say like, oh, they're just making Splatoon, but like they don't make them that often. And I almost wonder if like this will be the only time that we see a Splatoon Raiders game. The next time they do a a spin-off, it'll be of a different flavor.
Yeah, I mean, you really never know. They do love to do things in twos.
They do. That is true.
But yes, I can absolutely see a future where they're just like, we did it. Splatoon Raiders is the thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I like how much Nintendo has been exploring the scale in terms of price, obviously, but also just in terms of like the scope of games. I think that we've maybe gotten a few. I'm not going to say too many because that feels like a judgment. We've been weighted on the lighter side this year. Like I think this and Star Fox and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book are all kind of like lighter experience, like shorter experiences. But I played this pretty intensely for like a week and a half and like put in extra time because I knew we were going to be talking about it tonight. And I will continue to play it like beyond.
Yeah,
this.
I think I am somewhere between like 15 and 20 hours in it.
Yeah.
So, to beat the game, to roll credits is maybe like between 10 and 15 hours, depending on,
Sure.
How much, if you just kind of like mainline, make a beeline for the end. But yeah, I agree. I think it goes back to like Furukawa, the current president of Nintendo, when asked in some of the previous like investor Q&As about when are the big hitters coming, when are like Mario coming, he talked about because game development takes so long,
Yes.
having to have these like smaller experiences. And it does feel like we're in the year of it right now.
Yeah. Well, but what I like about that is that like this doesn't seem to be, and I'm sure I'll eat these words with people who have counterexamples, but that seems to be a model that like the other like first parties aren't doing, that there's not like, this is kind of like a littler PlayStation experience, this is kind of a littler Xbox experience, but still has like the sort of marquee quality of a first party Nintendo game, which I guess like maybe they don't even have that marquee to put a title up on.
For the other developers.
I
also think the other like publishers, or like the other first party publishers like Sony and Microsoft, they can rely on third parties so much more than Nintendo can.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, people buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games.
This is true.
And so they have to have like a regular cadence of games, because when you don't, you have like a Wii U situation. You know what I mean?
Normally that is true, but like the Switch 2 is kind of proving to also be a third party machine. Like
yes, yeah.
In a way that's a little bit unprecedented for Nintendo, especially in the modern era. So it makes these like smaller but like still very like complete and full of like Nintendo personality packages all the more exciting.
Absolutely.
Even with those 3 games that I mentioned, we also had Pokemon Pokopia earlier this year, which is a huge game, and Fire Emblem comes out in like 2 months. That's also going to be huge.
During the Switch era, I was constantly saying I wish Nintendo made those like $40 handheld experiences.
That's what this
is.
is.
In a way, that's kind of what they're doing now.
Yeah. And it seems like they did stop doing it for a while. And, obviously prices have changed, and, graphics have to be more intense on a Switch 2 than they were on a 3DS. But I do feel like they are capturing that spirit in a lot of the games they're putting out this year. All right, Mark, I think that's going to do it for our conversation about Splatoon Raiders. Let's close this out. And that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. We still have another 3 weeks of Splatoon Month ahead of us. Very excited to get into a bunch of different topics within the Splatoon universe. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McCabe, Kyle Seaborn, Drew Mackey, Anthony Lobergelis. We appreciate everyone for listening and for contributing and for participating with the show in whatever way you do. You can join our Discord, email us, we'll send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.